Believe very strongly in what they're doing. They, and they knew Jim was innocent.
They're very ruthless. They knew Jimmy was a symbol of
the goodness in America,
goodness
the best of America. But
they realized that he would be a person of concern, and that anything bad happening to him would hurt.
He just knew. They knew it would hurt.
And you guys know by the media response that you have mounted that in fact was the case. We've had people from Australia call and the whole business. He felt committed to the people who were trying to become free.
Yeah, he had witnessed so much suffering. I mean, because he was there very early. I mean, Jim was there the entire year of 2012. He went in before many reporters were. Since he was freelance, he could choose to do what he wanted. So right after Christmas, he prepared to go to Syria in January of 2012. And he was back and forth. He would come out for a respite in Turkey, then go back. And he was driven by, as John said, the people's deep desire for freedom and the suffering of the children. So many, just so sad. So many children orphaned and maimed and broken families.
This whole thing is a stain on the human race, really. The conflict in the Middle East is just a stain, and I'm sure there are others in the world, in Africa, etc. I don't think that we have a monopoly on pain and suffering. It's just awful. He wanted to be involved in your life. He was a great friend.
Yeah, he was a great friend.
Never could find a better friend than Jimmy.
Yeah, he had a great.
He would give you the shirt off his back, and
the other
he didn't have much. He didn't have a thing.
Nothing.
He had a backpack, a computer, and a camera. It's all he had in his whole life. Yeah. And he died with only
everything.
And our next guest was a good friend of James Foley. U.S. Army Sergeant Christina Dion coordinated Foley's embed assignments on the front lines of war zones. Sergeant Dion joins us from Germany. And good evening, and I'm sorry if you're lost, because I know that you liked him. He was a good friend of yours, wasn't he?
He was, Greta. He was a good guy to work with.
How did you meet him?
I was the embed coordinator at Bagram Airfield in 2010 for RC East, and Jim Foley had applied to embed, and I processed his application, and I met him when he showed up at the media center, and that was the first of many meetings at the media center, because once we got him out on one embed, he would come back, and he always wanted to go somewhere else, so we were constantly working to get him all over the area.
You know, Sergeant, I know that we in the media can be obnoxious and pesty and annoying once in a while, if not often. What was he like when dealing with you?
He was down to earth. I mean, just like if you're going to go into an office and just sit down and chat with somebody, he was just the kind of person. He would sit down at we had a huge conference table, and he would just sit there and we would all just chit-chat like we were old friends, or, just whatever. And it didn't have to do with anything going on in Afghanistan. It could have, whatever. But he was very down to earth, chit-chatted, got along with everybody. I know everybody that worked in my media center were all broken up about what happened. It's been devastating, and it's been shocking, and it's made us, angry and hurt. So it's not just me. It's everybody that worked with him.
Did you ever talk about fear or danger? Because he was going into some rough areas, as many of our journalists, my colleagues, do it all the time. It's just terrible, the dangers.
He never said that he was scared or anything like that. I knew he had a passion for telling the story. He wanted to let everybody know what was going on wherever he went. He wanted to tell the story. He wanted to document it. He wanted to be there. And whatever risk was taken, he was, willing to do that.
Sergeant, thank you very much for joining us, and I appreciate, I'm sorry for your sadness and everyone else's, and I certainly appreciate what you do to help the media and trying to get the story out to the people. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Greta.
And the U.S.